one of the worst. There was something that got to everybody. I can't be able to say without crying. I might have to narrate it.
Located primarily near German industrial plants. For more than 4 decades, this container held film footage showing the liberation of
Maybe I'll have to narrate over it. One of the worst. There was something that got to everybody. I can't be able to say without crying. I might have to narrate it. There's an image of no, I can't do it. I might have to narrate it over because I'm not doing a very good job. There's I'm never going to be able to get through it to say it. There's an image of a little boy that's on his way to the gas chamber. I reckon he must have been 5 or 6. I wouldn't think he was older than that. And it was the way that he was holding. He was holding the hands of the pastor. Okay, go away a minute. And it was the way he was holding the hands of 2 smaller little boys. God, if Stu gets a take out of this, it'll be a miracle. He was holding the hands of 2 smaller little boys, I would say maybe were 3 or 4. And they were going towards the gas chamber. Obviously they didn't know it, and as a parent, it's just heartbreaking to see it. And the worst of it was that they is that they told them they were going to have a shower, and so they covered the gas chamber with trees and even flowers, and they even had showers in there that weren't plumbed in, so these poor little kids. That's all I can say.
What do you think about the tour, the cost of the tour and how it was all arranged and the tour guide? Just talk about that.
Yeah, I thought it was arranged really well. The price was good, they pick you up from your hotel, it takes the stress away of sort of getting there, which is really, really helpful. Just prepare yourselves for a quite graphic video on the bus, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, you went straight into it.
Yeah, it was interesting because it covered a lot of facts as well. But then you get there and you're already a bit emotionally drained because you've watched the video.
Yeah. It sort of gives you the background to I guess the lead up to what was happening.
Yeah, exactly. So, it prepares you a little bit.
What did you about the guide?
The guide was good, easy to understand. The pace is quick. but there was enough time to read everything, and it was well organised. So, and they're very respectful to the area, which was nice.
The audio worked quite well, even though we might be lagging back. It actually covered quite a good distance.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they start fading and losing.
Yeah, that worked really well.
I think it was only when we were underground where we started to lose them.
Yeah.
So what did you learn that you didn't know about it? I don't know how much you knew in the first place. What did you?
I'd seen a few photos from there, but I hadn't appreciated the scale. Or how quickly some prisoners were sort of taken straight off the train.
Straight into the gas chamber.
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, I felt that as well.
I also didn't know about the experiments, because I don't think people sort of mention that part. So yeah, that was quite a shock to hear that was on children, on twins. That's quite sad.
There's quite a big difference between Auschwitz 1 camp and then obviously the bigger camp at Birkenau.
Yeah.
That was graphically, physically different, in size. It was more just so much bigger than the scale of it. And
walking the walk as well that they would have walked was,
What was a personal thing or that really touched you that you struggled with emotionally then with it? A couple of things.
Well, all of it, but I struggled in particular seeing personal possessions. It's like suitcases with names on, very like fancy shoes that people would have taken their best things with them. I didn't realise that they'd lied so much about like the showers situation. So things like leave your shoes. I didn't know that they'd gone to that extent to sort of hide what they were doing. But yeah, that's what got me the most is seeing people's personal possessions sort of just, and even it's a massive pile, but that would have been such a small amount of it. So that was quite shocking. That's what I struggled with.
And what about the human hair bit?
I felt physically sick when I saw that one. It's something you don't really want to look at, but then it is important, so you sort of force yourself to do it. But yeah, it doesn't make you feel nice.
It's a bit of a difficult way to describe, because it's sort of, it's not like on your bucket list or anything. It's not that type of thing, is it? But it's something that
it's important.
It's important. You should see it. But, and I've seen lots of stuff, but I don't think it really hit me until I was there. The scale. And almost like a factory approach to production line.
But like they weren't human.
The dehumanisation of it. And that's, So if you came to Poland, is that something, although it's completely different, you should just do?
I think they should teach about it in schools. Because I've been to Cambodia, and obviously the Cambodian genocide happened there.
And how was that? Because you went to the killing fields, didn't you?
Yeah, it's very different. They have hundreds and hundreds of skulls there, so it's like a different feel, if that makes sense. You see like they're all in a tower, so that's quite hard, because it almost doesn't feel real because there's so many of them. It feels like they've just put them there, but but that was 30 years afterwards, roughly. So it is important to like remember and not make those same mistakes.
That's interesting. And I just want to talk about the respect. What do you think about, obviously respect for the place, do's and don'ts? Because we saw a few things that we were a bit uncomfortable happening, people posing and... Oh yeah, people posing photographs, like selfies I don't think are appropriate. No. It's fine, they tell you to take photos, just don't use flash, so that's fine. I think if you're a woman, cover up like your shoulders as you would sort of anywhere. A few people didn't do that. There's people taking, I saw somebody doing a starfish basically in front of the camp entrance as though, I'm here, and it's like, it's not that type of place and you shouldn't be doing that. Just I suppose it's careful not to call it like a tourism thing. It's more of a historical museum, they call it. That's the difference. Yes, definitely. It's not an attraction. No. It should be referred to as an attraction. And that's okay. But I think most people were respectful. I mean, you can do the trip on your own, but I guess you get a guided audio guide, but I think having the guide, you didn't miss anything from the guide, let's put it this way, by just having the audio guide on its own. That might not be as good, I would imagine. No, exactly. You can get a taxi there, but it's a long day anyway, so it's easier to... you got to prepare for a long day. And you can quickly eat if you want something during the day, just to keep, but to be honest, you don't feel like eating either, and when you've come out of there, it's a weird day. We were quite quiet when we came out, and we weren't quite sure. I mean, this is the day after, and when we're reflecting on it, because it was a bit of a almost a non-topic to talk about to start off with, wasn't it? So,
but I think it will still like play in your head. It's not like you go once and then you're like, oh, that was that, and then you still...
And it's important because you'll talk to people as well who don't go.
Yeah.
That's an important thing as well. So.
Yeah.
So it's the day after, actually, we went to Auschwitz. Weirdly enough, we were going to do and sum it up yesterday when we came out, but it was a bit of a stunned silence, wasn't it? I think we're still processing it, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, we sort of knew what to expect, but you can't.
Stark reality is facing you when you go to these places.
You can't imagine when you're there.
It's difficult how to refer to it. It's not an attraction.
No,
it's not. We don't refer to it as a bucket list item but it was definitely a place we felt we should go to while we were in Poland and actually wanted to go to.
Yeah, you say that it's not an attraction, but some people were treating it as an attraction.
Yeah,
they were sat on the railway lines going like that, and no smoking, no vaping. And in the first few minutes of our tour, someone's vaping, and you're just like, did you not get the memo? There
was a bit of lack of respect in places, the way they were treating it. It's selfies, and I saw some people doing a star as look, I'm here, and it wasn't appropriate at all. So I think if you're going to go, just make sure you dress accordingly and you deal with it with the respect that's there. I mean, with respect to the tour itself, the people, the company, it's a sort of 6.5, 7 hour tour, isn't it?
It's quite long. I'd say book a tour. You could make it there yourself, but it's an hour and a half, I reckon.
Yeah, and I think also there's a possibility that you could have obviously the audio tour, and I'm sure that's good. We didn't have the audio tour because we had a guide. I think the guide probably just brings it together a bit more with life and not robotic, probably. And I think a bit more emotion. So I would advise going like a
it's £33 for the day, which
again for that sort of time is amazing.
You're well looked after.
Yeah, and you go to Auschwitz. They do the two because they're both in Auschwitz. So one's called Auschwitz 1, and then there's Birkenau, which I think is Auschwitz 2, I think it is. And you need to go to both sides because Birkenau is suddenly you realise the scale because it's a lot bigger, Birkenau. So the two camps are, they're very poignant, but they're one's definitely very a scale thing. You suddenly realise, oh blimey, look how big this was, and I think it was Birkenau that probably shocked me more when I got there because suddenly you can see where all the chimneys are because a lot of them were wooden barracks and they've obviously rotted.
Well, they ran out of brick.
They ran out of bricks, so they wooden. Obviously, they've all rotted and just left the chimneys there for each. You can see. I think it's 300 huts and that, the scale. So
was there 700 in a hut?
And I knew a bit about the history. You always think you know it, but then when you get there, I think it's the stark reality. You're walking on the same path as people have just came and died there, and I think that's quite for me. That's what is
that gas? Isn't that the last standing gas chamber?
So in Auschwitz 1, there's only one gas chamber that's standing, and it's the smallest actually in Auschwitz 1. So you'll walk through that, and again you'll see where they were marched in, thinking they were having a shower. Door locked. I know, it's quite emotional, and then gas, and then they're straight through it. They were filtered out, so the people in the camps were people who were working, so they obviously used slave labour to do whatever they want to do, so they only picked the strong, and once they became weak, got rid of them and replaced them with stronger people. So it was this washing machine of just humans that they dehumanised at the end of the day, removed all their belongings, which was the sad part. And you go through and there's parts where you can't film, so we've had to decide how we film this, and we're trying to hopefully we've been respectful with it, but there are parts where you can't film, especially where it's very human parts where they've got the artifacts, haven't they? So what do we see? Okay, go on. I think what was the bits that got to you?
You're gonna have to wait.
But they stripped them of everything, of all their belongings, and they had these in behind glass cases, didn't they?
Yeah, they had spectacles, shoes.
Yeah, and there was only a representation of masses of stuff.
You can see the pictures online. They have got pictures.
Yeah,
and hair.
Human hair was, I think that got to me, was, and obviously they were taking the human hair and converting the human hair into textiles, goods. It was just like
stockings.
I know, it was just like, oh my god, how could they do that? It was just so barbaric. But they did.
Because they told people to bring their valuables, which they did, and then just immediately took them off them and basically sold them or distributed them. And
they take you down into cells where they were beaten and tortured and where they were executed.
Wasn't that the bit that got to Emma?
Yeah.
Different things got to us.
Different people, different things. And that, and then I think the other thing was I think it was Block 20, which was called the hospital, weirdly enough, but it was actually where Joseph Mengele.
I want to say
anyway, he was the one who was doing human research on people
on twins,
injecting
mostly.
With all sorts.
It's mostly on twins.
They were doing twins because they were doing research on twins because they was trying to create an Aryan race, and also how to. They were trying to find ways to clear the ethnic groups they didn't like out of society completely, and they were injecting them with all sorts of things. So, and they called it a hospital. It was just, you look at it and it's quite horrific. As I said, Birkenau was built after Auschwitz I because they needed more capacity, and it's got I think there's 4 gas chambers there. We saw 2 of them, but they were all blown up when the Nazis were evacuating out at the end of the war. They were trying to get rid of everything that they'd created, and they were sort of blowing things up. But you could just see the vast scale of Birkenau, which was a different feeling, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. The only thing I think about for young people going, we've seen quite a lot of footage of how ill people were and how thin they were and malnourished. You didn't really see a lot.
No, there was specific.
It was hard to comprehend the scale of it for the younger generation. I think
on the bus on the way they did on the coach on the way they did.
Yeah, they did.
There was that. You got on the coach and suddenly you sat in with this footage, which was a bit hour of that, which was a bit bleak. But you're right. I mean, they did it differently in that. But it's definitely something nobody wants to go to. But I think somebody said you should go to it because you need to pass it on. So if you're in Poland, lots of other things to see in Poland, but you need to go to the Auschwitz and Birkenau. Do the both. Don't do the one. Do the both. Because it was Birkenau, as I said, that actually made me realise how big a production line it was, and that's just tragic.